the walls to drop a giant stone idol statue on you, which that is going to fall wherever you're standing at the time of when he hits it. So that's pretty easy to dodge. Deliver full shots when possible. And then Swordman is taken care of. Now we only have 2 Robot Masters left in Mega Man 8, and of the 2, I'm going to start with Searchman. Now as you can see with Searchman, he has at least 2 heads, so it's either 2 robots that are connected to the same body, or it just has 2 heads.
Ready.
Now this stage, you saw in Swordman stage, I used a little bit of the Thunder Claw to swing across gaps. In this level, I'm going to be using the Thunder Claw a lot throughout it in order to make it over gaps starting at this point. Now like I said before, you can use both the abilities and the Mega Buster at all times during the game. So if I want to save some of my Thunder Claw, I can use the Mega Buster if I want. Now I'm swinging across some gaps here, making a little bit of a shorter area to swing across, or making it a little bit shorter of a level overall by swinging. Have some spikes there if I want to be careful to avoid them. And then I have to swing across. And then we'll make it to the top here and have another area where we'll have to swing around. So it definitely makes for an interesting level, implementing the Thunder Claw to the point where we're actually really having to use it a lot in order to progress through the stage. Watch out for there, and when we go up here, we're actually already at our continue point for the stage.
Ready.
Now the second half of Searchman stage has more of the Thunder Claw swinging, but they make it a little bit more challenging because we're also going to have to use the Mega Buster to shoot open doors. As you can see, those doors right there, you shoot them to open them, but after only a few seconds they close back up. We're going to have to mix both Mega Buster shots and Thunder Claw shots in order to make it through those doors. So here's the first time when we're going to have to mix both of them. You can see I shot it there, but I had to wait a second because I want to make sure I shoot it, then swing across, and then move through that one. The last one in this whole stage, right before the boss room, is the hardest one. You're actually going to have to shoot the door open while you're swinging. Now this whole area, we have to be careful of making it over all the different spike pits and such as all the enemies hit us. But just like all the other Mega Man games, when you do take damage, you have a little bit of invulnerability, so if you do get knocked into the spikes, you can quickly jump out of them without losing a life. Now I use another one of these Thunder Claws in order to swing across that one gap. As we'll move to the right here, blasting some more enemies, watching out for some more of the pits and such. Not a whole lot going on in terms of anything new. Now right here is the hardest one to deal with in the whole level. We have to swing across, and as soon as we let go, then fire a Mega Buster shot to open up the hatch so that we can jump in it. And then we go into the Robot Master layer of Searchman. Now Searchman is one of the hardest Robot Masters to really be able to judge, or be able to time your movements around, because it's pretty random. He jumps in the air, and then he has 3 different hedges that appear. He can appear at any of them. When the targets that he has lock onto you, he then jumps out of whichever one he's in. I usually like to stay between the one on the far walls and the middle one, like to stay in between them, don't stand in front of any particular hedge. When he locks onto you, whatever one he pops out of, deliver a shot if you can, but then he's going to fire those missiles out. Now, they are going to home in on you and start going around you. They're definitely a pain to deal with because sometimes they will just keep following you. You gotta make sure you either jump over them, and then eventually they will explode, or just hope that you can get him to shoot them all into the wall. He also will shoot multiple ones at the top that will then rain down on you. Those are a little bit challenging to dodge. You just gotta stand in between two of the drops. And then he shoots out those blades against the walls. Those bounce around. Make sure when they're coming back towards you that final time, when they're close to you, that you can shoot them or jump over them and let them just hit the floor and destroy themselves. Searchman is probably the hardest Robot Master, at least for me, in the game. Now we have only one Robot Master left to defeat, and that is Astro Man. Now Astro Man's another one of the ones, like Tengu Man, who appears in another game. He actually later appears in Rockman and Fort, or Mega Man and Bass, whatever one you want to call it. Now Astro Man's stage is a pretty confusing level overall. It's broken up into several different areas. We start off with a platforming section, then we're going to have a maze. Then we have a tower section where we have to speedily go up a tower while it crumbles from beneath us. Then another platforming area, followed by one more maze. So it's a very lengthy level that also has many different elements to it. The platforming area that we have to deal with first, and we'll have to deal with in that other area, has these disappearing and reappearing platforms to jump on. Obviously not nearly as bad as any of the disappearing, reappearing blocks from the previous Mega Man games. Thankfully, those do not appear in this game. It's the first one that they don't appear in, and I am very thankful for that. Now here is the first of the two maze areas. I'm not perfect at this area by any means, so I'm just going to navigate the way that I'm used to, or at least I can find my way out of it. I'm sure there's a much quicker way to navigate through this whole place. Now that I lowered that, I'm going to head to the right. Now you can see that it kind of loops around, because you've already seen this part. But by continuing on, it'll eventually wrap around again, but this will allow me to get into the warp now. Go down the ladder, jump across, and there we go. There is the exit, and now we're in the crumbling tower area. We have to quickly move our way upwards as the tower slowly crumbles, dealing with enemies as well as different platforms to jump across. Stuff that we've seen in some other platformers, but one of the first times we've seen this in a Mega Man title. Just be careful while traveling upwards, making sure you time your jumps correctly so you don't accidentally miss a jump. Now right there I quickly went down to grab a health upgrade, which may or may not be a good idea depending upon how quickly you're moving through this area. There's a bolt to grab. And usually you can stay pretty much at the top here, and when we reach it, we hit our teleporter, and that's our continuation point for Astro Man stage. We now come back out, and it kind of looks like we're at the very beginning again, but this is the second set of platforming to deal with. Now this whole series of platforming is definitely more challenging than the first set. There's a lot more open gap space to jump across while navigating, and you have a lot of the robots that jump out from the pit area and jump straight up. Those can be a hassle while trying to avoid them because they keep popping up. Wait for my timing here. There we go. Took a damage, but I was able to land on the platform, thankfully. Move through this area, watch out for the frog. Now you can go down here and grab this bolt. This is one of the easier ones to get. Just wait for the platforms to reappear, and then jump onto them. And we move to our teleporter, and now we have our second maze area. Now this maze area, just like the first one, is a little bit hard to navigate. I'm not an expert at this part of it, so I'm just going to go the path that I usually take, which is the fastest that I know. I'm sure there is a quicker way to get through this area, and it's a little bit hard to explain. Hitting the buttons to open up different gates and such, and then moving on to hopefully get near the exit. As you can see, there's the teleporter. but unfortunately the one thing's blocking it. Go back down to this area, hit the red switch here, and now I can jump up here. And when I move to the left, I do a little bit longer through a path area. But this will allow me to hit that switch. That'll open up that one door. I have to use the ability here in order to make this jump upwards. Open up the thing there, I can get that bolt. And then when I drop down, I can go to the right, and there's the teleporter. The teleporter, thankfully, leaves us right outside of Astro Man's battle. Now, Astro Man's battle can be definitely a pain if you don't know what to expect. He does move easily and will dip down a little bit to try to hit you, which is a good chance